The forest breathed wrong. Not the gentle rise and fall of wind through leaves, but a slow, pulsing rhythm, like the heartbeat of something buried beneath the roots. Each step I took sank into soft loam that exhaled cold mist around my boots. They called this place the Black Star's Scar, though the maps named it nothing at all. No village claimed the land. No priest would bless it. Yet every tale, every scrap of forbidden lore I had chased across kingdoms ended here. I came seeking answers. Instead, I found her. At first, I thought the glint of gold in the shadows was reflected starlight, impossible in this overgrown gloom. But then it moved. Eyes, feral and unblinking, watching me through the trees. My hand went to the satchel of wards at my belt. My heart pounded, not only from fear. The figure emerged soundlessly, 7 feet of muscle and fur, limbs ending in claws that caught the faint light. A woman's shape, yes, but twisted. Lupine ears, a tail that lashed behind her, and a face caught between beauty and beast. She spoke first. Her voice was low, rough, almost a growl. "You shouldn't be here." I swallowed hard. "I've come to study the curse." A flash of teeth, not quite a smile. "The curse doesn't want to be studied. It wants to feed." I tightened my grip on the relic-etched staff. "And you?" Her head tilted, hair or fur catching moonlight. The eyes that fixed on me were not human, yet something in them sparked with pain, or hunger, or both. "Maybe I want to feed too," she said softly. For a heartbeat, the forest went silent. No wind, no distant rustle. Only her breath, ragged and close. This was not the monster I'd expected, nor the woman. She was something else entirely, something I couldn't look away from. I should have run. Instead, I stepped closer. I did not sleep that night. Not because the stone beneath me was cold, or because I feared the claws that could tear me open in a heartbeat, but because Kaelith did not take her eyes off me. Golden, slit pupils glinting in firelight, watching, measuring, waiting. Her gaze was heavy. Predatory, yes, but there was something else in it too. Curiosity. Hunger of a kind I didn't dare name. When dawn crept in through the cracks of the cave, she finally spoke. "Why are you here, scholar?" Her voice was gravel and honey, low, dangerous, yet impossibly soft at its edges. My mouth was dry. "To learn," I managed. "To understand the relic, and you." A flash of teeth, not quite a smile. "You think I am yours to study?" "No," I said. "I think you're more than they told me." Something flickered in her eyes, a dangerous glint. She rose to her full height and crossed the space between us in 3 strides. The air shifted. Heat radiated from her body. She crouched low, so close I could feel her breath fan my face. Hot and wild, scented with smoke and rain. Her claws hovered just above my throat, not pressing, hovering, teasing. "You want to live?" she murmured, voice vibrating against my skin. "Then listen, speak only when I allow. Run when I say run." Her head tilted, hair brushing my cheek. "Betray me, and I will make your bones sing before I break them." My pulse pounded so loud I was sure she could hear it. I nodded. Agreed. A claw traced barely the hollow of my throat, so light it raised gooseflesh, before withdrawing. I exhaled a breath I hadn't known I was holding. We stood before the wall of paintings. Gods with too many eyes, beasts chained to a black sun bleeding light into the soil. I stepped closer, reverent, fingers trembling as I reached out. "What is this?" I whispered. "History," Kaelith growled. Then quieter, "Warning." Her body brushed mine as she reached up to trace a chain painted in ochre. The contact was slight, her arm grazing my shoulder, but it stole the air from my lungs. The fur along her forearm was coarse, warm. My scholar's mind cataloged the texture even as another part of me burned at the closeness. "This," she said, voice near my ear, "is what you seek." I should have stepped back. Instead, I stayed still, rooted by some pull I didn't understand. "And you?" I asked before I could stop myself. "What are you?" Silence. Her hand dropped. For the first time, her mask slipped. Not anger, not pride, but something raw, wounded. "I am its prison," she whispered. Our eyes met. For a heartbeat, predator and prey ceased to exist. There was only her, scarred and terrible and heartbreakingly beautiful. And then her claws flexed, sinking into the stone wall with a sound like bones snapping. A warning, or perhaps restraint. "Rest," she growled, turning away sharply. "Tomorrow, I teach you why you should fear me." But when I lay down in the corner of the cave, exhaustion finally pulling me under, I felt it. The brush of fur against my arm, warm and deliberate. Not a threat, not quite comfort either. Something between. The fire was small, more ember than flame. But in the cave's dark hollow, it felt like the only light left in the world. Kaelith crouched across from me, her body half in shadow, half aglow. Every movement she made was silent, unnervingly graceful for someone so powerful. She watched me write, always watching. "Your kind," she said at last, voice low and rough, "puts truth into marks on dead leaves. Tell me, scholar, what happens when the leaves burn?" I glanced up, startled by the question. "The truth lives in the mind that remembers it," I said carefully. "Not in the ink." Golden eyes narrowed, not in anger, but interest. She leaned forward into the firelight, hair falling like a dark curtain over one shoulder. "And what do you see when you look at me? Truth or myth?" I hesitated. Both. Something in her expression shifted, not softening exactly, but warming. She gestured to the painted wall behind her, scarred claws tracing the outline of the chained sun. "They call it the Black Star," she murmured. "A god that fell from the sky. Its hunger seeped into the earth. My people bound it with blood. Your blood," I guessed. Her silence was answer enough. She shifted closer, too close. The scent of her hit me, wild musk, rain-soaked fur, iron and pine. My heart hammered in my throat. She studied me, head tilting slightly, predator's curiosity. "You're trembling," she murmured. My voice caught. "I'm not afraid." A low sound escaped her throat, half laugh, half growl. She moved closer still, until her knees touched mine. Her hand, clawed but strangely gentle, lifted to my face, tracing the line of my jaw with the back of her fingers. "Not afraid," she repeated, almost to herself. "Strange little scholar." Her claws drifted lower, skimming the hollow of my throat, where my pulse thundered. A test to see if I would flinch. I didn't. Her breath brushed my ear when she spoke again. "Do you know what happens to prey that doesn't run?" My breath hitched. "What?" "It gets claimed." Heat coiled low in my gut. I didn't move. Couldn't. Every instinct screamed to run, but something deeper rooted me in place. Kaelith's nose brushed the side of my neck, a whisper of warmth and scenting, almost animal. She lingered there, inhaling as if memorizing me. Her claws pressed just enough to feel, not break, the skin. "I could hear your heartbeat from the moment you entered my forest," she whispered. "It's louder now." I swallowed hard. "And what does that tell you?" Her lips, soft, shockingly human, curved into the ghost of a smile against my throat. "That you're alive." For one suspended moment, there was nothing but heat and breath, and the unbearable nearness of her. I wanted, God's help me, I wanted her to close the distance. But she pulled back first, eyes unreadable in the firelight. "Sleep, scholar," she said, voice rougher now. "Tomorrow you learn why I am feared." And then she lay beside me, close enough that her warmth seeped into my bones. Close enough that every brush of her fur against my arm felt deliberate. Sleep did not come easily. The forest was quiet. Too quiet. Kaelith froze mid-step, ears twitching, nostrils flaring. "We're not alone," she whispered. Her claws slid free with a hiss. I barely had time to draw breath before the arrows came. "Down!" she snarled, slamming me to the ground. The impact knocked the wind from me. And then the world erupted. Figures burst from the underbrush, masked and armed with crude spears. Raiders, men twisted by hunger and desperation. They circled us, shouting in a tongue I half recognized from ruined texts. Kaelith was already moving. She tore through the first man like a storm, claws flashing, teeth bared in a snarl. Blood sprayed the ferns. The others hesitated, shocked by her feral grace. I should have stayed down. I didn't. One raider lunged for her blind side. Without thinking, I threw myself between them, raising my pack as a shield. The spearhead punched through leather and missed my ribs by inches. I screamed, more from terror than pain, and swung wildly with a rock. The man fell. I didn't know if he was dead. I didn't look. "Idiot!" Kaelith roared, shoving me behind her as another came at us. Her tail lashed, knocking him sprawling. "Stay down." "I'm not leaving you," I shouted back. Her eyes, golden and wild, locked with mine for a heartbeat. Something shifted there. Then she turned, a whirlwind of claws and fury. When it was over, the forest was silent again. Silent, but for my ragged breathing, and hers. We stood amid the bodies, chests heaving. Blood matted her fur, streaked my hands. My pack lay torn open, pages of my journal scattered in the dirt like fallen leaves. "You're hurt," she said roughly. "Not badly," I lied. My arm throbbed where the spear had grazed me. Her claws trembled. From adrenaline or restraint, I couldn't tell. She stepped closer, slowly, like approaching a skittish animal. "You fought," she murmured, voice softer now. "Foolishly, but bravely." I swallowed hard. "You protected me." She huffed, half laugh, half snarl. "I always protect what is mine." Before I could ask what she meant, she was on me. Not in attack, but in something fiercer. Her hands fisted in my tunic, pulling me close. Our foreheads touched, breath mingling, harsh, uneven. There was blood between us, dirt, fear, and yet heat. My hands rose, almost without thought, to her face, to the line where scar met fur, rough and soft beneath my fingertips. She didn't flinch. "Kaelith," I began. She kissed me, not gentle, hungry. A clash of teeth and breath, desperate and raw. I gasped against her mouth. She growled low in her throat, pressing me back against the trunk of a tree. Claws dug into bark beside my head, close enough to feel, not to harm. I kissed her back. The world fell away. No relic, no curse, no fear. Just her heat, her scent, the wild thunder of two hearts beating as one. When we broke apart, foreheads still touching, neither of us spoke for a long moment. Her voice, when it came, was barely a whisper. "You should be afraid of me." I swallowed. I was. And now? I met her gaze, fierce, golden, unbearably human. "Now I think I'd follow you anywhere." Her breath shuddered. She stepped back first, but not far. "Then follow," she murmured. "We're not safe here." Night had fallen by the time we found shelter, a hollowed oak, its roots forming a crude canopy against the rain. My arm ached from the spear's cut, but Kaelith was worse. Blood streaked her fur, seeping from gashes along her ribs. She hadn't made a sound since the fight, not once. I wanted to ask if she was all right, but something about the way she sat, hunched, silent, golden eyes fixed on the darkness, made the words die in my throat. Instead, I built the fire. The sparks leapt like fireflies, casting her face in flickering amber. For the first time, I noticed how tired she looked. Not physically, she was always formidable, but deeper. Like the weight of centuries clung to her shoulders. When she spoke, her voice was quieter than I'd ever heard it. "My mother was the first." I looked up, startled. "The first? What?" "To bind the star." Her gaze didn't meet mine. "When it fell, it burned the forests black. It whispered in our dreams, promised power. My people tried to worship it. My mother chained it instead. Her claws flexed against her knees. The chains were forged from her blood, her soul. Every daughter after was born to hold them. Understanding struck like a blade. You're the last. Kaelith's silence was answer enough. The beast you saw, she continued, voice rough. It is the star's hunger, wearing my skin. Every time I fight, every time I let it out, her hand trembled. I lose something, memories, words, faces I once knew. Her eyes finally met mine, fierce, haunted. One day there will be nothing left of Kaelith, only the star. My breath caught. The relic, does it bind you? It is the chain. Her lip curled, not at me, but at herself. If it breaks, I am free. And so is the star. The fire popped. Rain drummed softly on the hollow above us. I didn't know what to say. What words could possibly meet such a confession? So I didn't speak. I reached across the fire and touched her hand. Her claws twitched, surprised, but she didn't pull away. For a long moment we sat like that, two strangers bound by something far older than either of us. The hollow smelled of smoke and rain-soaked pine. Our meager fire was dying. Beyond it the forest whispered with unseen life. Kaelith sat against the root wall, silent, golden eyes fixed on nothing. Blood matted her fur, dark against pale scars old and new. I'd never seen her still before, not truly. The stillness unnerved me more than the fight. You're hurt, I said softly. She didn't answer. I knelt beside her, hands trembling as I tore strips from my ruined tunic. Let me... My voice faltered. Please. Her gaze slid to mine, wary, unreadable. For a long moment, I thought she'd refuse. But then she shifted, baring her side where claws, not hers, had raked deep into her flesh. The wound steamed faintly in the cool air. I swallowed hard and pressed the cloth to it. Kaelith hissed, low, feral, but didn't pull away. It's shallow, I murmured, more to calm myself than her. But it needs cleaning. You're shaking, she rasped. My throat tightened. You almost died. A pause. Her breath hitched, soft, almost imperceptible. So did you. I worked in silence, hands clumsy but careful. Her blood was hot on my fingers, her fur soft where it met skin. Every brush of touch felt illicit, electric. She watched me, not like a predator now, but like someone memorizing a face they feared they might forget. When I finished binding her ribs, she caught my wrist. Claws grazed skin, gentle, not cutting. Why do you stay? She whispered. I blinked. What? You know what I am, what I will become. Her voice cracked, barely. Every moment you're near me, you're closer to death. I should have answered with reason, duty, curiosity, anything. Instead, the truth tore itself free. Because I can't leave you. Her breath caught. The firelight flickered in her eyes, gold swallowing the last traces of amber. Something in her broke. She surged forward, sudden, wild, and kissed me. There was nothing gentle about it. Her mouth was heat and hunger, teeth grazing my lip. Her claws tangled in my hair, yanking me closer. I gasped. She growled low in her throat, pressing me back against the root wall. The beast in her, I felt it, coiled and straining beneath her skin. I kissed her back, hard, desperate. Her body trembled, not with fear, but with restraint. Every muscle taut, fighting something I couldn't see. Her claws scraped the bark beside my head, inches from my throat. "Kaelith," I gasped. "Don't." Her voice was ragged, barely human. "Don't say my name. Not now." Her breath was hot against my neck. I can't hold it back long. "Then don't," I whispered. That broke her. She pinned me, not in cruelty, but desperation. Mouth on mine, hands roaming. Every kiss a battle between hunger and control. The beast flickered through her, in the sharpness of her teeth, the rumble in her chest, the way her eyes glowed too bright. For a moment, I thought she'd lose herself completely. Then she tore away, panting, trembling, claws digging into the earth to keep from touching me. "I could hurt you," she rasped. "You won't. You don't know that." Her voice cracked, raw, pained. "Every time I fight, I lose more of myself. Every time I want." Her breath hitched. "You. I feel it waking." Silence. Rain pattered on the hollow above us. Slowly, I reached for her hand. She let me. "I'm not afraid of you," I whispered. Kaelith's golden eyes burned into mine, fierce, searching, then softer, almost broken. "I am," she breathed. She didn't kiss me again, not then, but she didn't let go of my hand either. We sat in silence until sleep took us, two souls teetering on the edge of something vast and dangerous and inevitable. The storm found us at dusk. Wind howled through the hollow, rain lashing the roots. Our fire had long since died. In the darkness, Kaelith's eyes glowed faint gold, wild, restless. We hadn't spoken since the fight, not about what happened, not about the kiss. But silence didn't dim the heat between us. It sharpened it, every glance a spark, every accidental touch a flame. I couldn't sleep. Neither could she. "You're awake," I murmured. "I never sleep deeply." Her voice was low, hoarse, almost a growl. "Not when you're this close." My heart stumbled. "Do you want me farther?" Silence. Then softly, "No." Something broke between us then. Not with words, but with the way she reached for me. Claws traced my jaw, careful, trembling. As if testing whether I'd flinch, I didn't. She leaned in, breath hot against my cheek, and kissed me. Not like before, not frantic. This was slower, but deeper, heavier. I kissed her back, hands threading through her hair, pulling her closer until there was no space left to close. Her body pressed to mine, heat through torn cloth, soft fur against skin. Every nerve in me screamed with wanting. Her growl vibrated in my chest, low and dangerous, not entirely human. "Kaelith," I whispered. "You're shaking." "I'm fighting," she breathed, voice fraying as golden light flickered beneath her skin. "The beast. It knows you. What does it want?" Her lips grazed mine. "The same thing I do." We tumbled down together, breathless, tangled. My hands mapped scars, fur, muscle. Hers clutched me like she feared I'd vanish. The storm outside roared. Inside, we were fire. "Say it," she demanded against my mouth. "I want you," I gasped. Her answering growl shook me. Then take me. The world narrowed to heat and breath and heartbeat. Fur against skin. Claws dragging fire down my spine. Her teeth grazing my shoulder, a warning, a promise. Our breaths mingling, ragged, desperate, wordless, the beast stirring. Hunger and passion entwined, impossible to tell where one ended and the other began. I felt it, the curse breaking. Power flooding her, golden light searing through darkness. Her body arched, a roar tore from her throat, half ecstasy, half agony. The hollow trembled. The storm outside went silent. Then, blackness. I woke to quiet. Kaelith lay beside me, breathing hard, eyes no longer gold, but molten white, the color of stars. Her claws shook where they rested over her heart. You saw it, she whispered. The beast? Myself, she breathed. A tear cut through blood and ash. All of me. And you didn't run. I reached for her hand. She let me hold it. Not ever, I said. Outside, the storm began to die. The ruins rose before us like a wound in the earth. Jagged spires of black stone carved by no hand, human or divine. The closer we came, the heavier the air grew. Whispers crawled along my skin. Voices too soft to parse, yet sharp enough to bleed thought. Kaelith walked ahead of me, silent. Her claws flexed with every step, fur bristling under the weight of unseen eyes. The gold in her irises pulsed brighter with each heartbeat. The star knows I'm here, she murmured. It wants me, and will deny it, I said, though my voice shook. Her lips curled, not in mirth, but in something fiercer. Stay behind me. If I change, don't hesitate. I won't leave you, I whispered. She didn't answer, but her tail brushed my hand as we crossed the threshold. The temple's heart was a void. A sphere of black flame hovered over the dais, writhing like liquid shadow. Its pulse thrummed in my bones, matching Kaelith's ragged breathing. The star screamed. Shadows burst from the walls, beasts of antler and fang, twisted reflections of Kaelith's own curse. Kaelith roared and leapt. Claws sang against stone, slicing through shadow flesh. Each kill fed the light in her eyes until she blazed like a living comet. I shouted incantations, slamming relic shards into the floor. Wards flared, weak, flickering, buying seconds at a time. Kaelith, I yelled. The star's heart! Strike there! But she didn't answer. She stood over the dais, trembling. White fire licked her fur, her body twisted, elongating. The human shape I loved melted into something vast and wild, beauty and terror woven together. Kaelith, I whispered. Golden white eyes turned on me. Not hers, not fully. Run, she snarled. Two voices, layered and wrong. Before I tear you apart. I won't. Shadows surged. I ducked, parried, bled. Every moment she fought them, she lost more of herself. And then, the beast turned on me. I dropped my weapon. Kaelith lunged, claws inches from my throat. I caught her face between my hands. "I'm not afraid of you," I whispered, the same words I'd spoken by the fire. The words that first bound us. The beast froze, trembled. I pressed my forehead to hers, fur and sweat and searing heat. Memories crashed between us. Our kiss, the storm, our confession, the night we gave in. "You are Kaelith," I said. "You are mine, and I am yours." The star shrieked. Light erupted. Not black, but white hot, burning the shadow away. Kaelith screamed. Not beast, not human, but something new. The curse shattered. When I woke, the temple was gone. Only a crater remained, filled with starlight and silence. Kaelith knelt beside me. Her claws were still claws, but her eyes were wholly hers, white, soft, unafraid. "Are you hurt?" she asked, voice raw but gentle. "Only if you are," I rasped. She laughed, a sound I'd never heard from her. Broken, beautiful. "I'm still here," she whispered. "We're still here." I took her hand. She let me. The grove bloomed where the star once fell, wild flowers reclaiming scorched stone. Spring birds sang in the branches above. I sat with my journal in my lap, writing the final line. I came seeking knowledge. I found her instead. Kaelith approached, barefoot in new grass. The wind tangled her hair. Sunlight caught in her fur. She sat beside me without a word. For a while we listened to the wind. "Do you ever regret it?" she asked softly. I closed the journal. "Not for a moment." Her fingers brushed mine, tentative. I twined them together. We didn't kiss. We didn't need to. For the first time since the star fell, the world was quiet.